analytics is big right now, right? It's currently being used in startups, it's being used in SMEs, it's being used in corporates, it's being used in large organizations to improve decision-making through the power of insights. It has become a must-have skills, and the demand for data professionals is honestly at an all-time high. So our first speaker is a data analyst based right here in Nairobi, Kenya. She has experience in ETL, programming, and BI tools. She currently works at Sendy and has also worked in various prominent companies, including Omdina, as well as Twiga Foods. And when she's not being a tech guru, she's a makeup artist and a lover of fashion. Yes, guys, a woman who can literally do it all. So here to speak on the A to Z of analytics, which is our first topic, is none other than Ashley Karani. Please help me welcome Ashley. Also, if you know her, make sure that you send her a big thumbs up.
Okay, so as Claire's introduced me, I'm Ashley from Cindy. I work at Cindy as a data analyst. So let's get into it. I'm sure she said it all. So let's try and make this session as interactive as possible. I know we are from different fields, different journeys, and so we expect to like being really interactive with your ideas. We have different ideas from different fields. So first of all, we should be looking at the data objectives and data dynamics. We will get to data sources and ETL tools, after which we will get to BI and programming tools and visualization, then reporting and specialization. Then lastly, we look at applications and Q&A. So under data analytic pipeline, as I've mentioned, we have different experiences. And so for what I have currently, this is how the pipeline should look like as for me. But if in case you feel otherwise, just feel free to jump in and add whatever we can add for this pipeline. So for the data sources, just before even we get to analytics, we do look at some various data sources, starting from data collections. And to get this data collected, we use various data tools that gets us the data. So from that data sources, we are able to transfer them to their destinations. In this case, maybe data warehouses or databases, but through which we use the ETL tools. By ETL, I mean this data is extracted from the data sources, it's loaded to the data warehousing or the databases, and then it's transformed to formats that can be analyzed using VI or programming tools. So under data warehousing and databases, depending on the cases you're working on, this is where transformation is done, where maybe data is turned into tables or views. This is raw data that is directly coming from the data sources. So from there, we have the format ready. We get to BI, that is the visualizations, the analytical part, basically, and the programming part based on the end goal of the analytics. So, and lastly, reporting, where we curate the data to a format that the end user is able to understand. So this is basically what we are going to go through over this session. So we have the data objectives and dynamics. So as data analysts, we have, before we even touch our machine or get started with the cleaning or analytics, so we have end goals that you are looking into. And the best person in this case is the user, or rather the stakeholder of a certain business problem. So in terms of simplicity and visibility, we are sure to have the data visible to every user, or rather the stakeholder, visible and simple, yet in very informative way. So whichever charts, however beautiful they are, they should be, with an instant check, I should be able to see which problem am I trying to like check, which trends am I looking at, yeah, so that they are able to make informed decisions. And in terms of reliability, this is basically on data quality. So let me give an instance that I will use all through the presentation. I'll do, let's assume we have a passenger's car, like passenger, let's use a route. So there are passengers, and so we know the fare, like the charges for public transportation, the limit is 200. like the maximum is 200, is $2. Let's use $2. But within a certain chart, within one of my charts, a certain month has like $3. So that means for people who understand the business dynamics, who understand the problem and the state of the business, who understand that you can never have more than $2 as your charges. So we'll definitely know this data is not okay. And that will bring in doubts for the data and becoming really tough for them to make decisions considering they have seen a space somewhere. So lastly, this is on decision making. This is basically now coming from the analyzed data. So metrics and facts, definitely aligning with the company goals. So we are able to get the trends, the insights, and all that will strive to like help the company to make a decision. So I had included here a say that says, in God we trust, but the rest should come with data. So in the case we want to make any valid decision, then show me the data. Let's understand the data. Show me what you want us to do with the quantity or the qualitative basics of the data. Yeah, and lastly, on business dynamics. So this one, basically, I mean, the aspects of the business. We need to understand if you're working on sales, if the business is working on supply chain, on anything, we need to understand every step of the business, the state of the business, and also the goals of a business. So businesses tend to have different goals be based on their periodically. Let's say a business might have scalability goal maybe in the first quarter. The second quarter, the business may be looking into profitability. It may be looking into different decisions and different goals. So we need to understand as we start looking at that data, we have a goal behind. We are looking to make profit. So as much as the trend is going, what will affect if the passengers in this car are going less? What is happening? Why do we have so much more in relation to profitability, in relation to scalability? Well, how is my case coming on as we understand? So this is, before we touch anything, we need to understand the business. We need to understand the problem we are trying to solve as a business analyst, and then that will enable us to like understand how to even choose the procedures in terms of and analytical tools to go for. Cool. So let me hope we are good, and jump in case of anything, questions and all that. Okay, so for data sources and ETL tools. So for data sources, as I had mentioned, this is basically maybe, let's assume we're collecting data. So in terms of collection of data, there are two types of data sources. There's primary data source and secondary. So primary is basically the first hand, the raw. Like we go to this passenger, we'll be like, hey, where do you stay? Like, how old are you? What is your phone number in the case I want to reach you? Something of the sort. Like you are the one taking this data from the subject, like from the subject of the research. And then for secondary data sources, I can get online and then I find maybe Claire has done this business case before and be like, I can get you you can get the data from her page. So I can simply scrap the data from her page and use the data to make my own insights. So for primary data sources, we usually have both quantitative and qualitative data. So based on your business case, you will understand on which tools to go for. But in most cases for primary data sources, many tools have been coming around. Long time ago, we were having many companies have just been using I've been using forms and these survey CTOs. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. But as time continues, you see even businesses creating their own applications to use in terms of data collection. So businesses are coming up with their own and also manipulating other tools in order to suit their business cases, in order to suit their business requirements. So you can have, so part of these tools that do primary collection is applications. So company-based applications or applications that have been created, open sources applications, and then CRM tools. CRM tools are mostly currently these CRM tools are used almost everywhere, even with the healthcare departments. They're used everywhere. They used to collect data. There are very many CRM tools like Salesmate, Salesforce. I'm sure most of the people know Salesforce, HubSpot, and many other CRM tools. Even company create their own CRM tools. So CRM tools are also part of the data collecting tools. And then we have forms like Google Sheets that basically so we have Google Sheets for Google, and we have Power Apps for Microsoft, and then other survey tools and questionnaires. And then we have ERP systems that are used by different companies based on their problems. For secondary data, we have web scraping, as I had mentioned. If I want to get this data maybe from Claire, I'll just have to go. Maybe it's on Twitter. I'll go to scrap the data. We have various tools for web scraping. So we also have APIs. You can use APIs to get data from other sources, like other applications. So data can come in using, as long as you have the rights and everything, you can get data from the APIs. Let me know if there are any questions. I'm sure I'm very much rushing because of the hiccups we got at the past time. Please let me know if there are any questions and if we are good. Just someone say we are good, then I get on. Great. I've seen the thumbs up. Okay, so the ETL process. So for the ETL process in data modeling, so we are done with the data collection. What's next? Let's use as simple as, which tool can we use? Let's use an app, or rather you can use a Google Sheet. So we have this data over there. How will we get our data to a point where we are able to analyze this data? So we have this entire process called the ETL or ELT, depending on how you want the procedure to go. So for the ETL stands for extract, transform, and load data. So we've extracted this data from, let's assume you're using Google Sheets, you will use ETL. So for ETL, in most cases, ETLs are used with, I wouldn't say small data, but I'd say ELT is used for very big data that comes in directly, that is loaded directly from the data source. So ELT is the other way around. ELT is extraction, loading, then you transform. For ETL, it is extract, you transform first, then you load. I hope that's clear. So we will be talking more on ELT. So extract means like the raw data is copied or exported to sources, locations, to different locations like staging area. And then to transform is to make it in a way that it's consumable by the analyst, the person who's going to do the visualizations, like calling to Python environments or any other studios. So, and also loading. So for the meantime, let's use a simple case. Let's assume we want data for these passengers. So it's coming, this is raw data, they're using the app. So the app may transform the data into we are loading the data into our warehouses or databases. We are loading this raw data. So the raw data comes raw, but in this case, you cannot like visualize raw data like that, right? So you have to transform it. How are we transforming this data? It's transformed in terms of creation of good tables or creation of views rather. A view is more of a table, but you've curated it into your own, the way you want it to look like. In most cases, we use two. Okay, personally, I've used two so far, the DBT or the SQL. By the way, SQL can transform all your data the way you want. So you can, let's say, assume the raw data is in JSON format. So you have to like flatten the JSON and get it into readable columns. So you have clear columns. We have passenger name, passenger phone number, passenger residence, passenger pickup point, passenger destination point. So this data modeling and transformation tools enables us to like transform the data from how, like if I show you this raw data, it may not be easily readable by someone, let's say the passenger. Let's say we want to show them how they're performing in that area. When I open this data for this passenger, they are unable to see like, this means this is my number, this means they have to like, they struggle. But once you transform this data into a tabular form, in this case a view, then they are able to understand this column means my passenger name, my passenger contacts, my passenger pickup point and destination. So that's how the DBT comes in. Although the DBT is an ETL, though it only comes in when the data has already been loaded. So it only does the transformation part. So we have various types of ETL tools. So we have Airbyte, Stitch, Fivetran, and sensors. I'm sure there are more, and also there are others that are company made. Previously people were really had coding to make these pipelines, but recently if we have open source, why not, like Airbyte? When we have issues, when you have errors, why not an open source when they can come in and just correct it? So in most cases we use Airbyte. Why do you use Airbyte? Because it's simply in an hour's time you've created the connection, you are sending in data. So we have Stitch, we have Fivetran. Fivetran, I've not experienced Fivetran. I don't know if anyone in the group has experienced. You can just raise your hand, then someone will help you jump in. Okay, and we have sensors. So something pretty about some of these ETL tools, they also do what we call reverse ETL. By reverse ETL, I mean, as we are looking to like push the data to our databases, we would also like to push data back to our apps. So that is reverse ETL. So you're taking from the database back to the app. Previously, what we've talked about is from the app, I mean data source, to the databases. So now it's from databases to the app or any other collection tool you're using. I hope that is clear. Cool. So here I have something. So considering you guys have refused to like say something, so she or he is at 10, but she or he codes, so she or he is at 9. Someone explain this. She or he is a 10, but she or he codes, so she is a 9. She or he is a 9. Come on. Think about it. Think of a table and give it a 10. Think of a Python table. Think of a Python data frame. Let me say so. We've given she or he a 10, but she or he codes, so she or he is a 9. Someone? Okay. Seems error 44 is here. So it's an indexing joke. Yes?
Is it math? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it mathematical? Is the answer mathematical?
I've given the answer, but let me just go back. She or he is a 10, but she or he codes, so she or he is a 9. Think of it of a data frame, a Python data frame that is indexed, so it's not mathematical answer. Maybe, yeah. So, okay, seems we all have the error. So it's an indexing job in Python where we have indexing. Our indexing starts from 0, so 9 is a 10.
Oh, there's some answers in the chat.
Let me check. Yes, starts from 0. These were the yes. She cried in Python because we start at 0. Yes. Hope yes. Great. Cool. So we can get on. At least most of you guys had this phase without answers. Cool. Let's move to now. We had our data sources, right? We collected the data, we had our data sources, we extracted, we loaded into our databases and our data warehouse. Sorry, let me just mention databases and data warehouse.
Hello, Ashley. Yeah? You have two attendees with their hands up. You have Josephat. I'm going to allow him to talk.
Oh, I just raised it. It was a mistake. It was it's a tired hand.
Oh, okay. It's a tired hand. We get it. Okay, that's fine.
There was the next one. There was someone else.
Yes, there was someone else. Abdul Wahid.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead. Do you have a question?
So my question, I have a question. So, so I'm working as a data analyst, right? Do I need to do all these processes? Like, does my job entitle me to do all these processes from getting the data from the source, then transforming it, then like storing it in the database? Is it part of my job as a data analyst? Like that's the question I just wanted to ask.
Thank you for the question. So different companies have different GDs for data analysts. So I would say it is based on your client or their business or the problem you're working on. Some problems may require you to start from scratch. By scratch, I mean to start from data collection, and some problem may just require you, they have already provided you everything. But yeah, as we move forward, we start to it to learn the entire process so that you can curate this data. You don't have, even if you get to the BI like programming, you don't have a lot of work because your data, you've already seen this data from the word go. You've already understood the company dynamic, and yes, you had an idea of what is coming your end. So I wouldn't say that you need to understand the entire process, but just for the sake of other businesses, other clients, other companies, yes, it may be really, really helpful. But most companies understand just analytics starting from the BI and programming part moving forward. I'm not sure if I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, Ashley, you can go. You can carry on. Thanks.
Okay. So to go to BI and programming tools, so as we get the data, I was just explaining after we have the good data, let's call it good because you have interacted with it from the word go. Maybe if you haven't, now this is the time to understand how your data looks like. Maybe if you are using Power BI, if you're using Google Data Studio, these are part of the common data analytics tools, though there are very, very many data analytic tools being chosen based on your problem. So it's very challenging to find a fit-all tool, but you can just consider the need of the business and so the users. So what are some of the things that we check in terms of choosing these BI tools? Besides, who are your consumers? Are we only two people? Do we need a paid seat? Do we need to have a whole data being displayed to people, or are we just aggregating this data? We're also checking on the visualizations offered, if they will be relevant with the data we have, and also the problem you're trying to solve. The modeling capabilities, like can you like use SQL to like narrow down to what you want, or you have to go put it somewhere else to do the more analytical part or creation of measures in the case of BI, Tableau, or creation of other things to incorporate to the business problem. Also the pricing and also the licensing capabilities. So with this, as a data analyst, or rather to also maintain it, you also have to understand how to measure against this pricing and licenses. So maybe you've chosen a tool that is okay, yes, it's presenting the thing, but it's not bringing, let's say we want activation. Does the tool enable us? Is it having higher returns compared to the amount of things we are using, the problem we are trying to solve, the tools, the visualizations? So in terms of toolings, we have Microsoft BI, we have Google Data Analytics, Jupyter Notebook, Looker, just based on the company you are in. Some use Microsoft full suite, some use Google, some are just open source like Tableau. Tableau is, some like Google Data Studio are free. So these are usually, we call them very common because they support dozens of data sources. So I can use Power BI. It will pick from BigQuery. It will pick from Snowflake. These are kind of databases. It will pick from Google Sheets. It can pick from Excel. It can pick, as long as you understand how to put the data source into the BI tool. So we have Python and are hugely involved also in data analytics and also visualizations, machine learning, and automations. So besides us just doing BI tool like visualizations, so we have they can as well be a form of automating a lot of problems. So as I had mentioned, when you're checking at the company dynamics and the problems, yes, we offer support in terms of maintaining these reporting tools like dashboards, like every other tool that we've seen for data analytics, but as well, we're looking into problems like, will you keep on downloading data for people to go to Excel on a daily basis or on a weekly basis? So find out, how can we make this possible? How can we make it that they don't have to reach you? Your work is just to schedule for them. Like, let this just maintaining the back end so that you don't have to download data on a daily basis, or you have to VLOOKUP. Let the use case come in when it's really necessary. Let's assume this passenger of mine wants to understand how much they've been spending from the year ago. So that is where I can come in, because I want to share specific data to them. I'm sorry we have not talked about data regulations and ethics, but it's just based on the company. So are you allowed to share all that data? So that comes where you can narrow down into maybe use case of a form or anything, something that you're sharing just once. It's not like a continuous thing, but a continuous thing, then you need to look through and understand how well can we automate this. So for the sake of forms, they also come with all these benefits, just that they are not we cannot automate on a daily send through. But yeah, as we continue, beautiful things are still coming up, and the sheets are really becoming really relevant. And yeah, so that's where you can put up your data to the sheets and have it to the way the client wants. So I'll get to visualizations. So what do we know about visualization? This is what the stakeholders consume. So it should convey messages to users in the most effective and efficient way, yes, but you should strike to balance between creating very beautiful. I know most cases lately, yeah, we are all about beautiful dashboards, balancing the colors here and there. But yeah, is it striking can someone simply comprehend it and yet very informative in an informative manner? So that's the questions we should be asking ourselves. Yes, I've used orange. Orange really looks good on white, but is this helping? Is this solving the problem? Is this, when a business is a case, when it's a problem, you won't even matter about the orange. You will come to understand why on this month do we have this high peak on a certain month. So I'll give an instance of certain visuals that should be used in different cases. Like for line charts. Line charts are best displayed to show a trend of number over a period of time. It can be any metric, but yeah, when we are comparing over a period of time, like this chart, I don't know if you guys can see because it's covered by my tab over here. But yeah, it has let me just try move it. It has over a period of time, that is June. So for this chart, we are trying to understand the performance over the month of July on a weekly basis. So if it's on a period of time, then it's good and it's a one metric thing. Here we're only understanding the number of passengers, the number of passengers over weeks in the month of July. It should be a single metric over a period of time. So in June, it went down. July, on the third week, it went down, then took a peak on the 17th of the third week of the week, then went down again. I hope that is clear. So for line charts, we are trending across the period of time. So what about bar charts? Bar charts are great for a number grouped. Let's assume now we have stages. So for my data that has passengers, so these passengers usually alight at a certain stage. So stage is one thing, but there are different stages. So stage is a collective name, but within the stage, there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, which is the final destination. So within that, you want to understand which stage usually has very many people alighting. Is it the final stage 4, or is it the first stage from pickup? So that is how we are grouping into these categories, like more of a funnel, more of a showcase. It might be also infrequented, but you have to put this all together. So for pie charts are used when trying to describe a single metric as well, but with very small dimensions, like really small. Just imagine we had stage 1 to stage 40. Then you wouldn't even understand which one is trying to take a major part of the sales, the passengers. So pie charts and donuts, and they're also called, the others I usually see on Excel. There's so many types of these pie, donuts, and all that. they're usually really good for less dimensions. I don't know if you guys have any questions so far. Elaine, you can help me understand if there's any raised hand or anything.
I think you're fine so far, Ashley. You're doing great.
Great. So let's give it a try. So I want us to try and understand how. So I won't answer. Let us answer these questions. So we have details of these passengers, including their name, phone number, pickup, and destination. So we want to have a chat. We have a stakeholder who needs these answers. So which kind of chat should we go for? It's a details of the passengers include. Just don't focus on the only charts I have focused on. We have very many charts. We have maps. We have every other thing. So in the case of any question, just think about it like you are working on it and not like this presentation. So we have details of passengers, including their name, phone number, pickup, and destination. Which table should we use? Which chart should we use? Okay, let me open the chart. A table, yes. I think I'll go for the table. I know someone is laughing because I had already told you the answer, but yeah, you can talk about any other thing though. So yeah, as someone has said, a table will be ideal because we have very many columns. So it will be neat to have a table with that information. So which top stage has the highest average value over the past 12 months? We can go quickly based on timing. We ate time during the start. Number 2, a budget. Which top stage has the high over the last? We are looking at one metric, which is the highest number of passengers over the last 12 months. And then number 3, we have what month has the highest total amount. Let's see. Budget for the number 3, but number 2 can as well be really well displayed by a line chart, because you see in this case we are talking about a period of time and we are incorporating only one metric. So what about distance covered from one stop stage to the next stop stage? Which chart is ideal for that? Answer for number 5. Number 5. Number 5. Distance covered from point 1 to point B. Okay, people are saying bar chart, histogram, continue. Scorecard, Interesting, a scorecard. Over a period of time, sorry guys, also over a period of time. Yeah, a scorecard will work within sets, but maybe what if we are doing over a period of time, like January, February, March, April? Yeah, so I'm sure based on the data, many people would be able to define which charts are most suitable based on the problem. But yeah, there are area charts. There are very many other things you can use to understand a distance or any other thing. What's the overall trend for now that one, based on the answers we've given, we are able to tell which trend we can pick from the data. So we have data insights, reporting, and specialization. I'll be fast because we took more time over the beginning of the session. So as we've mentioned, the value of data drastically increases when there's context of the data. So from the understanding of the visuals, we are able to come up with decisions. And so what is performance reporting? This may involve creation of reports either on dashboards. By dashboard, I mean like this consolidation of various relevant metrics in terms of charts and bar graphs and tables required to like point out relevant metrics with regular insight send out and strategy support, maybe through interactive dashboards, real-time dashboards, or automated PDF reports. You can automate the PDF, like I can automate this report to be sending out maybe on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a daily basis, and so on and so forth. So we have data analytics specialization. This is something I wanted to point out towards the end. So we have lately companies are really diversing in terms of using data, and so companies are specializing data analysts. So these are big companies, and so maybe for most of our entry jobs, we've just been generally dealing with almost all of these fields. But currently, you can see there's maybe product analytics, sales and growth analysts, operations analysts, and financial analysts. There's so many. There's credit analysts, there's so many in terms of specialization. So for like product analytics, this one basically focuses on the product of the company, understanding like how people are interacting with the product, how are the competitors interacting with the product. Like in the case of apps, are we looking at how many people are signing in, how many people are going to click and add to the cart? Let's use like Jumia. Like Jumia, a product analyst would understand how many people dropped a product from the cart, how many people went up to buying the product. And then we have the sales and growth. Sales and growth basically has its own key metrics as well. So like maybe retention rates, churning, like very many defined by the company. Then we have operation. This is very, very diverse and relative to a company. So operations are very different. It can be a transport operations, it can be supply operations, it can be health operations. Like this is company based, but yeah, that's specialization in terms of analytical roles. And lastly, the financial analyst. So I've meant to say that there are so many. When we are checking to this, when we are checking to job applications, then we can consider as many as possible, and so also the overall ones. So yeah, I welcome questions and also answers from the team. I'm sure we are very much capable. We are coming from different backgrounds, and maybe there's so much I've missed out because of the time. Let's get started. You can chat, or you can just raise your hand so that you're picked.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ashley. We have our Q&A going on. As I've said in the chat, you can just list your questions on the chat, or you can also just list them on the Q&A tab that's at the bottom of your screen. So Ashley, I actually have a question for you. You have listed so many tools in terms of what you use as a data analyst.
Yeah.
Maybe can you tell me what's the most common tool that you've used? Like what tool do you use on a day-to-day basis? And what would you term as the most unusual tool you've ever used to do data analysis or visualization or presentation, something like that? So yeah, maybe you can give us those two.
Yeah, so based on so far, we definitely, the engineering team is concerned with collection of data from the apps. I'm talking about my day life as my consumption of these tools. So from there, I use for databases we have BigQuery, we have Parcel, and then for warehousing we have Snowflake. So we have all this because databases in these cases are real time, and then Snowflake is quite an hours behind. So yeah, so that is for databases. So for BI tools, I'm really glad to be working with a company that is very diverse in terms of tools. So as long as you bring something that answers the problem, we've used Power BI. We majorly use Metabase. Metabase is just like a BI tool, but recently they're incorporating cloud systems and databases. So, but as a BI tool, we are using it as a BI tool for presentation. It's like everyone in the company can access Metabase. You understand the way on Power BI, you can have the online service where everyone can interact with the database. So Metabase and does the same thing, but everyone can understand and you can store the data. So I really love Metabase. I would say I love Metabase. I love Power BI, where the use case is good for Power BI for the case maybe you're sending out one, but also understand the pricing and the licenses. We have Google Data. So for product cases, we use Mixpanel, and we also integrate all the events into one Snowflake so that we all have one. By the way, one thing I would say is to always look at a way we integrate all this data into one thing so that we have one source point for having this as visualizations and all that. So for what else? For sales, we use a CRM tool. So we are able to be administrators of these CRM tools and do all those analytics that can be done within the tools. What else? Which part of, and we use Python. Python is really good in terms of automating and scripting. And also DBT, we use DBT. So DBT also, one thing I didn't mention, we're able to document our tables, our views on DBT. So also DBT enables us to inform the rest of the team in the case changes are made. You see the way we get them to GitLab, and then you have to like request a merge so that the entire team is in the loop of any changes. Claire, have I answered your question?
Yes, you really have. Thank you so much, Ashley. So many people in the chat are saying thank you for such a nice presentation. Guys, if Ashley has done such a good job, please give her a thumbs up, show her an emoji to show that you appreciate the amazing work that she has done. We also have another question that has come in, Ashley, and Naftal is asking you, could you, okay, she starts with, okay, she or he, I'm not so sure, but thank you, Ashley, for the wonderful presentation. Could you tell us about your analytics journey? Hope it's not too much to ask. Emoji, emoji. So Ashley, please tell us.
Yeah, so after JQuat, by the way, I did pure statistics in JQuat. It's Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Guys, Claire was my classmate. She's the host, she was my classmate, and other panelists. So yeah, so after then I got an internship at Nestmetric Limited, where we were dealing with different companies, different fields. So I feel I got the confidence to work on different fields from there because we were understanding their data, past data, to help us forecast their future clients. So yeah, so that's where I got really much confidence. But then the internship got over, so I got back to like really improving my skills just home. Then got a chance to work with them. Then I'm sure you guys have heard of this platform. It's a collaborative platform where various machine learning engineers collaborate to solve problems. So there also I improved my confidence in terms of handling data from that process. It was just a 2-month contract, yeah. After which I got an internship at Trigger Foods. So it's at Trigger Foods that I started interacting with real world data on a specific field. So that is where I understood way from collection of data up to how at that moment I wasn't interacting so much with the ETLs and all the databases, but yeah, that was a foundation of me understanding, like have a clear, like being analytical thinking. You get it? It's just not about the tools, but how to solve problems. And after a year and a few months, I got to join Sandy, where massive things have happened, and we appreciate as we continue like improving our skills. Definitely I would, under application, I had planned to ask you, like, however much you've joined maybe a company, we keep on checking the JDs to understand where we are at the current world, to just understand which tools are really doing well at the current moment. So yeah, let's keep on learning, let's keep on improving our skills. Claire, I hope I've really tried to shorten, considering it took much of your time.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for that journey. Actually, what it shows me in your journey is that you are literally a go-getter because you have worked in so many places, and you have built your skills over time. You did not just wake up and become and be where you are. It has taken time, it has taken skills, and it has taken people, and generally it has taken your hard work. So thank you, Ashley, for that. We have another question. Okay, so many people are asking about the presentation. So Ashley, I'm so sure is going to make that available as we go on throughout the boot camp. So she'll probably just share a link. I'll also just share her LinkedIn in the chat below, so you can also reach out to her in case of anything else. We have another question, Ashley, from Roy, who's asking, how do we work with APIs for data extraction?
Yeah, so based on whatever you want to use, let me give a scenario. Like for us, we use work. I do work with APIs in terms of CRM tools. CRM is just like any other data collection tool. So in the case I want to update a field, you want to delete things, and you don't want to do it manually. So these applications usually come with APIs. So you pick their public APIs. They are found like if you just Google, like let's say SalesMate or anything, you'll just find the APIs. So there's much more. You can reach out to me. I can take you through all this, and yeah, we can catch up. But yeah, APIs are really good unless they start failing. There are instances like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashley. Roy, I hope Ashley has answered your question. You also have a final question, and I think this will be our final question for this session. And that is, what is the best way to land internships? Ashley, please tell us how you were able to land so many internships and contracts.
I think, Claire, I'm sure you relate. We were attending so many boot camps, hackathons and communities. So by this, you get to meet people. And once you follow them on LinkedIn, whichever links they like, we are able to see, we're able to apply. And also, I feel like I want to say something that is not reflecting me, but yeah, we need to improve our LinkedIn. But yeah, so it is based on, I feel like, networking. Let's get to know each other within this group so that in the case I meet an internship, I'm like, hey, can you handle this? Like, you can try apply to this. Yeah. So basically, I would say it has been through knowing each other. Like, Claire can send me, what do you think about this role? Something of the sort. I would basically say networking would work, communities, and skill set improving and showing the world you got it. Yeah.
Okay, Ashley, thank you for that answer. But now that you're working at Sandy, I think what Roy is also alluding to is, yes, you can network, you can know people, but unajua, they say in Swahili, kwa ground vitu ni different, right? I can meet someone, I can network with them, and then they'll be like, yes, I'll help you. But how do you actually how do you actually land these roles? Do you apply online? Do you, yes, when you network, do you bug these people till they, help you? Like, what is the practical way in which you can get an internship?
I feel it's just improving the skill set and also confidence. If you are less skilled, this is experience. There are things you'll see and you'll be like, you'll shy off from applying. But if you've improved in your skill set, you have enough confidence to even reach out to someone. Be like, Claire, by the way, I can handle this. I can handle this and I can apply to this, and keep on applying. Like, each and every time you keep on applying and include everything that you've been able to work on.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashley. That's a very point-on answer. We just need to build our skill sets, which is equal to confidence, and with that, you can get anything you'd want. Thank you. So I've just seen so many people are asking if they can connect with you. I have shared your LinkedIn in the chat, but please also tell us how else people can connect with you.
Yeah, so through every other social media, Instagram. Yeah, once you reach on LinkedIn, I think that's a direct connection. I'm very much on LinkedIn.
Okay, guys. So yeah, LinkedIn it is. If you would like to reach out to Ashley more, just find her on LinkedIn. And yeah, again, I'd say let's give Ashley a big round of applause. Share your favorite emoji. Please tell her thank you as we move on to the next session. Thank you so much, Ashley. We do appreciate your insights. I feel like I have learned a lot about analytics. I feel like the journey for AI and analytics is all about learning every single day. And I hope we have too. Wow, we have Mercy in the chat saying, Ashley, you are a superstar. And I totally do agree with her.